Hello and welcome, this is Brahim here, and in this video we will take a look at what to do in the Ielts speaking test if you get a cue card that might be considered difficult to answer or that you might not necessarily have the answer for. In the second part of the Ielts speaking test, when you get given a cue card, it happens sometimes when some of these cue cards might be a bit tricky to answer. So in this video, I will highlight for you 3 key methods or alternative techniques that you can actually use in that case if you don't have the answer for the cue card. So let's get started. Now, before we get to the cue card, what I would like to highlight is that there is no need to be overly concerned and worried before or even during your Ielts speaking test. Because in my experience, being actually worried and panicking and overly concerned is probably your first enemy, because if you get a cue card and then you think it's difficult and then you start panicking, that's gonna cloud your thinking and then you can't even construct your answer. So first and foremost, I would highly advise you to actually work on putting yourself in these type of situations. So put yourself on the spot, work on actually controlling your nerves, because if you had prepared, there is no need to be worried about it. Even if you are a little bit nervous, that's absolutely normal. The examiner is going to be understanding as well. They will also help you out a little bit. However, if you just panic and then you start overthinking it, then that could possibly be a game over. And what I would like to emphasize is that there is absolutely no need to be worried or panic in the exam if you get a cue card that you think you cannot answer, because you can always handle the situation in a way that I will show you today that will enable you to still score a high band even if you don't know, or even if you don't necessarily have the exact answer for that, or if you hadn't really practiced for that. So without further ado, let's take a look at the cue card. So now let's take a look at this cue card. So if you get this cue card in the Ielts speaking test, which is asking you to describe someone that you know who has started a business, you should say who this person is, what work this person does, why this person decided to start a business, and explain whether you would do the same thing. Now, if you get given this type of cue card in the Ielts speaking test, I do understand that you might not necessarily know someone who actually started a business, or you cannot think straight of someone. So what are you going to do in this case? Well, so what you need to understand here is, as long as you demonstrate to the examiner that you fully understand the question and then you communicate to them that you simply don't know someone who actually started a business, then you are absolutely fine. It is totally fine if you slightly divert the subject or if you talk about something slightly different. However, as long as you keep within that context, then it is absolutely fine. The examiner is simply there just to assess your English speaking skills. You don't have to know someone who started a business in order to answer that question, and that is what you should understand. Well, what I would recommend is actually 3 different alternatives. So let's start with the first one. So the first alternative method is consider a hypothetical scenario. So what would you do if you would start your own business today? And that's how I would answer the cue card. So the way I would answer that is, I personally don't know anyone within my circle who has started a business. However, I have always wanted to start my own business myself. I know that it takes a big leap to actually go down that route. I am currently a student, but I am the type of person who enjoys challenges. So at one point, I will definitely want to set up my own business. And then you describe what business that you have in mind. I want to set up my business that sells sunglasses or peanuts or whatever you want to sell, or like whatever idea that you have in mind. And then you go on and describe what you would do. So I would continue by saying, initially, I know that I would need to raise funding or get a loan to actually start the business. It will take also some risk, but I am fully prepared for that because I know that the reward eventually is worth the risk. And then you could explain why you want to do that. I have always had passion for this type of business also, I think that it will give me more freedom, more independence in my life later on, or enable me to retire early, or whatever you have in mind. But the key thing here is, as long as you are following along the key points that are outlined in the cue card, then keeping within the same context, then your answer will be absolutely perfect. You can still score a high band. So that's basically one way to do it. Now let me explain some of the expressions that I used. When I said within my circle, it means the people that you associate with, or like your friends, or the people in your environment. And then I used the expression, it takes a big leap. A leap is like a jump, but what this expression essentially means is that it takes risk in order to try and achieve something significant. So if you take a leap, you are actually doing something that is risky and uncertain, but if it works out, it can bring you success. So imagine if you are taking a leap, it's sort of like you are jumping over some sort of a barrier to reach the other side. Now, people who don't take risks, who don't want to jump, they're always going to be stuck on the same side. However, if you jump and you actually make it on the other side, there might be more fortune on the other side, and then you can achieve success. Another related expression is a leap of faith. So in other words, a jump of faith. When you take a leap of faith, is that it's very risky and very uncertain, but you just have faith that you're gonna make it. But nothing is guaranteed, and it's very risky and very uncertain. And then the last expression that I used, to go down that route, which means that you follow a particular course of action. So if we are talking about starting a business or taking risk to start a business, if you go down that route, it means that you follow or you pursue. Now, the second alternative method that I would recommend if you don't personally know someone who started a business is that consider talking about someone that you might have seen on TV, or someone that you might have read about, or that you might have heard about in a podcast, or simply someone that you might have seen on YouTube, you know. So there are so many other alternatives. And the way how I would do it is, I would say, starting a business is not for the faint-hearted. I know that it takes a lot of effort and courage to set up a business and make it successful. I don't know someone directly who actually started a business, but I watched this TV show which is called Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, where so many entrepreneurs who want to start their own business come on the show. I saw this guy who came on the show, and he had an interesting idea to start an app to make shopping easier for local businesses within the community, or whatever idea or whatever you've seen on TV, and then just go on and try to follow the same key points, what type of person that was, describe them briefly, say what they do in general, maybe they were engineers, maybe they were artists, or where they started, and then explain what their idea is or what their business is and why they want to do it. So as simple as that, and there you go. Alternatively, you could also refer to a public figure, someone who's famous and someone who's well known and started business. So you can talk about Elon Musk, for example. You can say how he started Tesla or SpaceX or PayPal. Now, if we get to the third alternative method that you can use, I would simply suggest that you talk about starting a business in general. So in this case, you can just go on and describe what you know about starting a business, what it takes, what risk is involved, and just keep on going and talk from your knowledge about what it takes to do that. So the way how I would answer it is, I don't know anyone in my family or friends who started a business. I do know that setting up a successful business is not a walk in the park. It's a very risky endeavor. It takes a lot of effort, energy, money and time, and I think that's why most people prefer having a regular job that offers them stability over taking that risk. So in this example, I use the idiom a walk in the park. If I say something is a walk in the park, it means it's so easy to do. It's like you say this is a piece of cake, which means the same thing, like something very straightforward or like very easy to do. If I say it's not a walk in the park, it means it's something difficult or complicated. And the word endeavor that I used is a C1 type of vocabulary, and it simply means an attempt or a try to do something or an attempt to achieve something. Now, lastly, I'm just gonna add that there is literally nothing that's preventing you from also making up a character in your head or talking about someone purely from your imagination. The examiner is simply there to assess your English speaking skills, so they're not going to come and check whether you actually know someone or you don't. But what I'm trying to say from all these different alternative methods that I'm proposing here, my main message here is whatever topic or subject that you're gonna get in these cue cards, you could always change it slightly, tweak the subject a little bit, or divert it in another direction where you can speak more confidently about a different thing. The examiner is simply there to assess your English speaking skills, and that's what they are concerned about. And these cue cards are simply there to help you express yourself. So it's all about your communication at the end of the day. If you confidently communicate to the examiner that you do understand what's in the cue card, you don't necessarily agree with that subject, or you don't believe in it, or you just don't know someone who meet those criteria that's asking you about, as long as you confidently communicate to the examiner that you keep talking, you demonstrate your English speaking skills within that sort of like context there, then you will be absolutely fine. And that is what I'm trying to say here. And actually, to demonstrate that, let's take a look at another cue card example where I will show you how you can change the topic in the direction that you want it to be. So if you get this cue card, which is simply asking you to describe a luxury item that you would like to own in the future. However, if I am talking about myself, and let's say I am genuinely not into luxury items and I simply don't want to own a luxury item in the future, here is an example of how I would do that. That's an interesting question. To be completely honest with you, owning a luxury item is not particularly appealing to me. I am not really into that. I see so many people falling into the trap of spending huge amounts of money just to own a Rolex watch, for example, or a designer handbag. But for me personally, I see more value in actually using the same amount of money for a different purpose. I think that buying experiences or traveling to different countries is a lot more valuable than owning a luxury item for the same amount of money. If I get the option to choose between owning a luxury handbag or traveling to Iceland, for example, with my best friends, I would always choose the travel experience. The memories that you create from traveling abroad, the insights that you gain from meeting the locals, the experiences you have there are just invaluable to me. I don't think you can actually put a price on that. So that's why traveling is a lot more valuable to me than owning a luxury item. And then you can go on and talk more about your travel experiences, what destinations that you have in mind, what would be your dream destination that you would like to visit, and so on. And then you just continue along those lines. But essentially, you can always change the topic. Here we went from luxury to travel. I do recommend, however, not to jump like straight away, as long as you cover a fair share about owning luxury items and why you don't think that owning a luxury item is worth it, and you communicate that clearly to the examiner, then it is totally fine. Now we get to the end of the video. I hope that you learned some of the new expressions that we covered today. Please make sure that you practice these in advance, and as long as you are confident and you clearly communicate with the examiner your ideas or your opinions, the examiners should also be understanding. There is nothing wrong with being a little bit nervous, so there is nothing to be worried about. If you get a difficult question, you can always change it in a direction that you want it to go. Communicate clearly, express your opinions, and you will be totally fine. Now I leave you here. I wish you best of luck with your Ielts exam, and I'll see you next time.